But yeah, welcome to the Life Taco podcast again, Major Ojeda.
Everyone, glad to be here, man.
Yeah, so what have you been up to lately?
The national spokesman of No Dem Left Behind. We're getting ready for 2022. We're reaching out to people. We're reaching out to people, and we're asking them to help us to find the candidates out there that can go against the Lauren Boeberts, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Ted Cruz, the Josh Hollies. Maybe somebody to fill Matt Getz's seat. Why not? But yeah, we're focused on 2022. I'm also in the process of relocating, getting ready to build my retirement home in North Carolina. I sold my retirement home that I built after I retired from the military, and I'm popping smoke and I'm heading to greener pastures.
What made you choose North Carolina?
I spent literally almost my entire military career at Fort Bragg. So we love North Carolina. We love the weather in North Carolina. We love the fact that in 5 minutes you can be at everywhere. We got a really nice piece of property in the woods. We got a 3-acre pond. It's going to be really nice. But literally, once you drive about 2 miles almost out of our driveway, then, you're 5 minutes away from everything. And that's, having access to all the different stores and restaurants and stuff. That's definitely, far better than where I'm at right now. I mean, I was 18 years old before we got the first McDonald's in my hometown. We don't even have a Dairy Queen. We have a Dairy Delight, I mean, we had a McDonald's that was spelled with the K, when you live in places like that, and my wife loves North Carolina. She was a very, very successful real estate agent. So she's thinking about maybe getting back in that, and why not,
Yeah. So you're canceling West Virginia.
I mean, it's not, let me tell you, I love West Virginia. I love the people of West Virginia, but this is a state that has just went too far red. And the bad part about it is they're so far red, it's going to take probably 20 years to fix anything. I've been saying that this state now is going to have to burn down before it'll rise from the ashes. I mean, what the Republicans are doing in West Virginia right now is at the end of every day during the legislative session, they go back and they vote to strike everything that the Democrats said from the record. So basically, when you stand up and you say, I don't think that bill is a good bill, I think it's a bad bill, it's going to hurt people, they're going back at the end of the day and they're saying, yeah, take his remarks out of the journal. So that, 60 years from now, if somebody goes back and they say, that was a horrible bill, how come nobody fought for it? Because they're removing the Democrats' voice.
So, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think of Joe Manchin? I don't think I've ever heard you talk about him.
Well, I like Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin was a phenomenal governor. He's probably one of the best governors we've ever had. He was basically placed. He was appointed to the Senate seat of tip of the tongue always, Robert Byrd, when Robert Byrd passed away. But so he never finished his second term. I have a feeling that Joe Manchin is wanting to come back to West Virginia and run for governor again. And I think that's why he's kind of trying to come off like he's more like Republican light. But I message Joe Manchin almost daily, and we go back and forth. I have his private number. That ain't bragging or anything like that. I'm just saying that I do have his ear. I messaged him yesterday and I said, look, HR 1, I said, it's got to pass. And he agrees with the majority of HR 1, and he believes that something is going to pass. But I'm hoping that, I think that at the end of the day, we saw not one single Republican vote to expand vaccination, to get kids back to school safely, to help the average person that's struggling in this country. Not one Republican voted for the Relief Act. Not one. When Trump was in office and he pushed their Relief Act, which gave shit tons of money to filthy rich folks, the Democrats still supported it because they knew that the average citizens were going to get something, But not one single Republican voted for that relief package. So I think it's evident that the Republicans don't want to work with the Democrats at all. If they can't have their way, they want nobody to get nothing. And I'm hoping that Joe Manchin is starting to realize this so that he will finally say, Joe Manchin's a Democrat and he needs to stay a Democrat. And he needs to stop daggone straddling the fence with these Republicans. At the end of the day, he tried to get the Democrats to come to the table for the relief package, and they said no. So now it's time for Joe Manchin to say, we're in the majority, and we're going to get some shit done.
Yeah. Who are some? Have you found some good candidates with no Dem Left Behind? And do you have certain ideas for like the people that you're going to target?
We have not announced anybody yet. We're right now looking, because here's the thing: it's 2021. The election's not until 2022. People are going to start talking in the summer that they're going to be running, but we're not going to jump on anybody yet until we know exactly who it is. And the reason for that's because you don't want to jump on board with somebody, and then 2 months later somebody comes out that is far better. That has, just because somebody says, look, I want to take on Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert's a pain in the ass. She's an absolute horrible person, but at the end of the day, anybody can say they want to take on Lauren Boebert. It doesn't mean that that's the right person. We want to find somebody that we believe is passionate, that we believe is intelligent, that we believe will actually go to Washington, D.C. and take the job seriously. People like Matt Gaetz. That's a funny thing. Matt Gaetz has never lead sponsored a bill. Matt Gaetz has never did anything in 3 terms as a congressman. He's never went to Washington, D.C. and did anything to fight for his people. He just went up there to be friggin' a thorn in people's sides. He went up there for fame and fortune is what he went up there for. He didn't go up there to save anything. That's not the kind of people that we want to support either.
Yeah, he's very policy light.
He's garbage. He's garbage. I mean, literally 6 years as a member of Congress, and you have never lead sponsored a bill. I mean, even Marjorie Taylor Greene lead sponsored a bill to try to fire Dr. Fauci, which was stupid as hell. But at least she's lead sponsored something, even though it was crap. I mean, this guy's never lead sponsored anything because he don't care. He's just up there to say, look, I'm going to get on the TV today. Even the Republicans don't like him. I mean, you saw how Tucker Carlson come to his aid, right? Yeah, I don't remember none of that. Yeah. and you can see it in his face. Matt was still looking, and when Tucker Carlson, you can see Matt like this. His eyes was going like come on, man, you're killing me, Tucker.
So I saw something today. So Sidney Powell, she's in court with Dominion, and it says Trump administration attorney Sidney Powell has moved to dismiss Dominion's defamation lawsuit, arguing that when she accused Dominion of being part of an election rigging scheme with ties to Venezuela, no reasonable person, quote unquote, no reasonable person would conclude that those statements were facts.
And they right there just basically said that she admitted that they lied through all of it. They had no evidence. And guess what? Dominion is not going to back off now, because now Dominion's got them. You lied. You defaced our company. And they're going to, Rudy Giuliani, that young girl that sounded like she was drunk, they are going to leave them penniless. And I cannot wait for her to come there and say that. She just cut the throat of everybody on her team. She admitted that everything that they had was a lie. Fact.
Yeah, I don't know why they think that's a defense for. Tucker Carlson used a similar defense in court, and Alex Jones. They both just basically said, we're entertainers. We don't believe the things that we say.
Well, guess what? People are about to see what the repercussions of that are. They're about to see it, because I'm going to tell you what, $1.3 billion. They're suing Fox News for $1.6 billion. And it's all, I'm telling you right now, Dominion is going to win every case.
So, what do you think about you mentioned it a second ago, but what do you think about the American Rescue Plan, everything that's in it? I have kind of a breakdown that I'll go through just so people are actually aware, because I don't think a lot of people even know what all's in it.
Well, as far as, I love the fact that the things that Joe Biden wants to do is going to absolutely create jobs in this country. And it's stuff that we definitely need. I mean, the infrastructure plan that he's coming out with, I think, is absolutely crucial. I love the fact that they're talking about getting wind up and running. They're talking about, charging stations, like 50,000 charging stations across this country. This is jobs, that are going to be created. But I'll tell you right now, in terms of Joe Biden, everything that he's doing, I mean, this guy hit the ground in a dead sprint. He has not stopped, and he's been working every single day for the American people. I love the fact when somebody says, well, Donald Trump, and he says, stop, we're not talking about him. He's like saying, look, put him in the past. The thing about Joe Biden that's really so important to me is he's showing everybody what presidential looks like so that they can remember, because we haven't seen that in quite some time. So, I support anything at all that Joe Biden has come up with, because I think that everything that he is wanting to do is going to absolutely make this country better.
Yeah, he's kind of shocked me. I didn't expect him to be a transformative kind of president. Like, I thought he would be par for the course, Like,
hey, for him to come out and say, look, I'm going to absolutely pay for this by taxing the rich and corporations. It's about damn time that we got somebody that says, we haven't heard that since Dwight D. Eisenhower, since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We have not heard a president stand up and say, I'm going to friggin' start doing things for the American people, and I'm going to finally make these people pay their share, because corporations have not paid their fair share since Ronald Reagan's raggedy ass was in office.
And it's crazy that a very establishment figure is the one that was able to pass probably the most progressive piece of legislation in my entire lifetime. Like, well, I guess that's because he has like establishment bona fides, so like they'll kind of go along with it. The establishment will, and obviously the progressives will. So like he kind of merges those together.
Yeah, but he's turning out to be like, I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought that Joe Biden was going to come out the way that he has? I mean, I'll tell you right now, I am so proud of my president. And the guy, he doesn't golf. He doesn't golf. And he don't tweet, and he's taken 5 trips, which when you fly a helicopter from DC to Delaware, what is that? A 9-minute flight, it's not a long flight. And he goes there and he goes to his home and he spends the weekend with his family. I mean, wow. He's not on a golf course charging Secret Service astronomical amounts because it goes into his pocket, and then I see that, Eric Trump's like, I can't believe he's been to his house. He's been on vacation 5 times. He's went on 5 weekends home. By this time, Eric Trump's father had already been on 20 golf outings that literally had already cost us about $70 million. I mean, I'm telling you, I absolutely, I love, I think Joe Biden, is going to be one of the great ones. President Obama is actually, has actually won, like, he's one of the top presidents that we've had. President Obama did all the things that he did while the Republicans attacked him every day. But I'm going to tell you right now, his vice president, who is now our president, I believe that those two are going to end up going down as 2 of the best presidents that we've ever had.
Yeah, and it's nothing policy-wise, but it's just kind of nice to have a president that has dogs and actually kisses his wife. Like, she lets him kiss him.
A guy that is passionate about family. Let me tell you something. This one pisses me off. When they see him hugging a child or something like that. He lost a daughter. He lost a daughter in a car crash. I think he lost his first wife. I believe it was a daughter and his first wife in a car crash. He lost his son to cancer. I got 3 kids. 3 kids now. I found out I had a 3rd kid due to Ancestry.com, and I love her. I met her this summer, and I love her dearly. She's amazing. I don't even know how I could even begin to accept losing a child. And he lost a child that was a child. I mean, like 6, 7 years old. I don't even know. I don't think I could handle that. I don't. I really don't. So, he's a passionate guy. because he's lost more than most people could even begin to imagine. So, you know, and here's a person that most people in that situation would have quit, and he still is fighting for the American people. Every day he gets up, he's in that White House and he's working. I mean, this guy is working. And I'm telling you, I mean, him, Jen Psaki, you know, she don't lie. She shuts people down. I mean, to have a press secretary that actually is answering questions honestly, I mean, it's like completely night and day. And we've only been in this like 75, 80 days, you know? He hasn't even hit the 100-day mark. You know, I said on day one, I said, because there was no transition and there was no infrastructure in place for the coronavirus. Vice President Pence failed miserably. Donald Trump failed miserably. That's why there wasn't a transition, because Donald Trump didn't want Joe Biden to know we didn't do anything. So I said on day one that I'm going to wait until Joe Biden is in for 100 days before I say we can start calling any of these coronavirus deaths and pushing them over on his tally. I say that for the first 100 days, every death still belongs to Donald Trump. Shit, by the time we hit the 100 days, I think everybody in America is going to be vaccinated. I mean, I'll tell you, man. I mean, you know, he said 100 million people. No, he said 100 million people in the first 100 days. And he knocked that out on day like 42, you know? I mean, it's just phenomenal, man. I think that Joe Biden is doing a phenomenal job. And everybody, I don't give a shit if you like him or not. You may stand and talk crap about him, but secretly you're like, damn, he's kicking ass. You know he is. You know he is.
And I think after the just living hell of the last 4 years, I think it's kind of like having two. It's like they're him and Jill are like America's grandparents now, just like giving you a hug.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell you, I think it's great. I think it is great. And I love his wife. I mean, I love his wife. His wife is an amazing person. You know, out there on Valentine's Day, putting things up that talk about, you know, how we need to heal as a nation. You know, nobody even saw or heard. I mean, the only daggone time Melania was her bullshit. Be best. You know, be best. Don't bully. Could you tell that to your husband? No. You know. I look for her. I look to hear about her divorce papers coming out any day soon. Any day. The moment that he finally is getting hammered and they say he's going to jail, she's leaving him. Her tell-all book is going to be about her, you know, stuck to herself. Basically, her and Barron being, you know, in the back room trying to keep Barron from being exposed to all this garbage.
Yeah, somebody did an article on Jill. It was so dumb. It was like saying that she shouldn't call herself a doctor because of where she got the degree, and
but
like
first and foremost, yeah. That right there. Let me tell you something. If you have a doctorate in education, be proud of your doctorate in education. She's a doctor. You know, it's not just people that do medical stuff. You know, you can become a doctor. You get your doctorate in pretty much anything, and it's not an easy task. I will tell you. You know, I thought I was about to die when I finished my master's program. I literally was like, I never want to ever crack open a book or ever have to write a paper as long as I live. You know, I never. So, you know, when I spent 4 years in the classroom when I retired from the military. And the majority of teachers that I worked with had a master's degree plus 45 additional hours of education training. So, you know, we're talking about people that are literally on the verge of becoming doctorates or earning their doctorates. It's a lot of hard work. You know, I don't want to hear somebody talking shit who may have a high school diploma. You know, Lauren Boebert got her GED while she was running for Congress. I'm sorry if this sounds negative, but I want my people in Washington, D.C. to have more education than a GED. And it shows that all she has is a GED. Shows she's not a smart person.
So in the American Rescue Plan, I just have a few of the points that are in it because a lot of people that I talk to don't even know what's in it. Nonprofits with more than 500 employees will now have access to the Paycheck Protection Program after being shut out of it earlier. That's great.
Yeah.
350 billion in state and local funding will enable our sector to continue critical partnerships with government to respond to the changing needs of the community.
Yeah, I like that, but I'll tell you what, though. I always, whenever that happens, it sounds good, but there has to be, we need more overwatch in our government. Government spending should have absolute 100% overwatch, because, it's like whenever you bail out the banks, when we bailed out this because it was too big to fail, what's the first thing that the CEOs did? They took big parts of the money and gave everybody bonuses, raises, and all those things. Look, if we're going to send money to the states, we need to absolutely look and see and make sure that every dime is being spent accordingly. I want to make sure that we start making sure that we have overwatch in our government, because government is one of the biggest thieves in the world today. Fact.
Yeah. If you give it to the banks, then they give it to the CEOs. If you give it to billionaires directly, they put it in offshore bank accounts. They don't stop firing, all that kind of stuff.
Trickle down economics was bullshit that started under Ronald Reagan, and every Republican has started their presidency with a huge push of money to the filthy rich, and it has never once. And people are, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know. If you put money in the hands of the people at the bottom, it's going to make it into the hands of the people at the top. But at least it gets to go through the people at the bottom and betters their life. Pow. That's how it needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
Trickle up economics.
Yeah. Let's see. 350 million infusion into the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, CAPTA. Let's see, direct payments to working class Americans, the stimulus checks, a newly expanded child tax credit that will significantly increase resources for families with children under the age of 6. The families with the least financial resources will get the full amount. This funding
and real quick, that's key. That's what they mean when they talk about we have cut child poverty in half, because what they're doing right now for these children across this country, that is crucial, and that's going to pay off big time.
Yeah, they care about abortion. They care about them before they're out of their stomach, and then they don't care about them after they're out.
Republicans are the moment that a child is born, they look at that child like he's a drain on the economy until the child turns 18, and then they want the child to join the military to go fight their bullshit wars. That's all they care about. They're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. If they were pro-life, they wouldn't cut the programs that feed the child, that clothe the child, and educate the child.
Mm-hmm. But it says this funding will be distributed monthly, so families have regular flow of dollars coming in to cover their basic needs. This policy, like you said, is expected to cut America's child poverty rate in half.
Yeah.
Additional investments like expanded health coverage, nutrition programs, and new dollars for rent and utility assistance will give individual families the support to move forward to full recovery.
Yep. Phenomenal.
Nothing like the previous stimulus packages where there's all these special deals for whoever.
Everything. And once again, Democrats supported the previous packages because they know that some of it got down to the people that needed it. But they also know that it was kind of jacked up. I mean, when you got people that are buying yachts with PPP loans, Carol Miller, who is the congresswoman for the 3rd Congressional District of West Virginia, her family owns 5 car dealerships. Every car dealership got a $350,000 to a $1 million PPP loan that they don't pay back. When are we going to allow the people of the United States of America at the middle class and below to get loans that they don't have to pay back? How come it's only the filthy rich get these forgivable loans? It's garbage. But that's the problem we have in this country. But Democrats supported it because they knew that some of it got down to where it was. This is showing where all of it is going to where it needs to be. I think it's phenomenal. I think it is. And everybody knows poor people that struggle and have 3, 4, 5 kids. Think about that. Think about what this is going to do. Think about what those families are now going to be able to do with that money that comes in every single month. I mean, if we're going to do a UBI, if we're going to do a universal basic income in this country, the two people that we need to focus on the most is the children and the elderly, because old people are still cutting their meds in half. You know, we should also put some stipulations in that do everything in our power to make sure that we can stop that.
Yeah. You mentioned Carol Miller. How has she been doing in her position?
She does nothing.
Not very well.
She does nothing. In a total of over 2 years as a congresswoman, she has read a piece of paper twice, verbatim. That's it. She can read. Congratulations. That's it. She didn't go to Washington, D.C. because she had great policies or a platform. She did nothing. She didn't even campaign. She went to Washington, D.C. because these dumbasses where I'm from let her say, I'll do whatever Donald Trump wants. And they said, we got to vote for her. That's the problem that you have. That's why West Virginia will burn to the ground before it ever rises from the ashes, because we have elected everybody that just said, I love Trump. We didn't say, can you read? You know, we didn't say that. You know, can you spell legislation? Doesn't matter. You love Trump. Let him in. And that's why right now, our state is absolutely upside down. West Virginia is in a world of shit right now.
When you leave West Virginia, after you've been in North Carolina for a while and you're eligible, would you be interested in running at all?
Well, look, first and foremost, I lived in North Carolina for 20 years already. I paid taxes in North Carolina.
Does that make you eligible to run then? When
absolutely. I lived. I owned homes in North Carolina. I spent literally 20 straight years. Now, I would leave North Carolina and go to Korea for a year, but my wife stayed in North Carolina. I would come back, and then I go to Iraq. I go to Jordan. I go to Haiti. I go to Afghanistan, but I'd always come back to my home, which was in North Carolina. So I can go back to North Carolina and run for office right off the bat, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to North Carolina to plan on running for office. I'm not going. That's not me. You know, I love what I do with No Dem Left Behind. I'm a thorn in freaking people's sides all across this country. But make no mistake about it, I maintain the right to take on anybody if I want to. So if I get to North Carolina and there's a bunch of friggin' asshats in there that need punched in the face, and the Democratic Party says, hey, Ojeda, we think we'd like to support you, because I'm never going to run for office without support. I'm not doing that. I got done horrifically wrong in West Virginia this last time because unions stabbed me in the back because they crawled in bed with the Republican Party. And I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do that. If I cannot guarantee that I'm going to get the support, I don't need it. Let me tell you something. I'm doing quite well and I enjoy what I do.
So, some criticisms of the American Rescue Plan was, number one, that they had, when the Georgia people were running, they had said $2,000 checks, which it was $2,000 combined with the $600, but some people are complaining about
because they're Republicans. Because they're Republicans, and even though they got $1,400, they're like, but we have to still be mad at something. So it wasn't $2,000. That's all it is. They're Republicans. You know, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I put a tweet up this morning, and it's already been seen. It's got over 10,000 likes already, because I'm still wanting to know, when are we going to see Loeffler and Perdue get indicted for insider trading that we know for a fact that they participated in? I'm sick and tired of seeing elected officials show us all that they're above the law. I don't give two shits. I want to see them go down for what they did, because they participated in insider trading. If we could lock up Martha Stewart, then we can lock up them.
Yeah. So yeah, Republicans I've also seen criticism from progressives too, which is interesting.
Look, there's always going to be things people are going to gripe about. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't think that today we're better off than we were last year at this time, then you're dumb as a stump. Fact.
And then there's also the complaint about the $15 minimum wage being taken out because of the parliamentarian suggestion.
Look, I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that. because I think that people deserve to be paid more. I think that now that we've had a global pandemic and we realize that the people that are stocking the shelves, the people that are running the stores, the people that are cooking the meals that people are picking up through the drive-thrus, those people are essential. They proved that they were essential. And you know what? They need more. They deserve more. They're struggling. You know, in West Virginia, the majority of people in West Virginia, the jobs that they have are those jobs because the coal industry is dying. We've lost thousands of coal jobs because coal's dead and it needs to go. And other than that, we have nothing else. We have nothing else. And what people understand is that when you give people money at the bottom, they spend it. Poor people and middle-class people don't take their money and stick it in offshore accounts and mattresses. They actually spend that money. And that's an influx of money coming into the community that will benefit the community. Restaurants will see more people showing up because now they got money they can eat there. Grocery stores, gas stations, they're going to see more people. They benefit from them. So at the end of the day, the money's going to make it into the pockets of the rich anyway. It's going to all end up in the Walton family's pockets anyway. But at least it's going to go through the people at the bottom and benefit them and better their life.
Yeah, I work at a hotel, and when the stimulus checks come out, we have a lot more people, locals, saying
because you know what? You got a couple that don't have any kids, and they get a stimulus check, and they say, "Hey, let's take that trip." You know, you got a person that gets a stimulus check. He puts new tires on his car. You know, of course, you got these jackaloons that, sleep with their weapons every night. They all took their stimulus and bought them a new AR. But at the end of the day, people spend the money. Very few people, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I know quite a few people that, got it and stuck it in the bank. But most people that I know got it, needed it badly. And used it properly.
Yeah. And then I think the other complaint was that it wasn't recurring monthly checks. So it was just like one time. But I mean, you get what you can get.
Well, but here's the thing. You could have had that. You had a presidential candidate by the name of Andrew Yang that absolutely said, I want to do UBI and I want it to be an every month thing. And when you think about Logan County, West Virginia, where I'm from, you have 37,000 people that are above 18 years of age, 37,000 people times $1,000 each a month. Wow, what a boom in Logan County every single month. You could have got that, but you chose not to vote for Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
By the way, if you live in New York, Andrew Yang's running for governor. And Andrew Yang's plan, if he wins governor, is to institute a UBI in New York. So for the people in New York, you may, in New York where you're not happy because you're living in a apartment that's the size of a normal person's bathroom and you're paying $4,000 a month for, hey, you can upgrade to maybe the size of an apartment, the size of a normal size living room with that UBI you get every month. You can change your life.
Seems like an easy choice.
Yeah. Pretty easy thing to do.
Yeah. It seems like, the only thing for me is I'm like, it seems like you'd go all the way with it because you knew no Republicans were going to vote for this thing anyway. Like they got none of them. So might as well just go big and get as much as you can in there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, they vote against it because they're going to get something on the other side. People got to understand. I mean, the greasing of the pockets of legislators is absolutely real, and it happens. And if you think it's bad at the state level, you can only imagine how bad it is at the national level. I mean, we already know what the playbook, the lobbyist playbook. We know exactly what they do to entice legislators to go to work for them on day one. We know that they basically tell them, look, here's the deal. You're a congressman. When you're no longer a congressman, we want to hire you. And when we hire you, your starting salary is $2.5 million a year. So that delegate on that day, that member of Congress on that day basically says, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep them happy with me. So I don't even care if they don't even have to bring me legislation. I'm going to go to them and say, give me something that I can push because they know. At the end of the day, that's where they're going. And oh, by the way, all of your legislators that were in Washington, D.C. that are no longer in office, what are they doing now? Because the majority of them are working as lobbyists now. Yeah.
So while that was being passed, the Republicans were also focusing on something. Dr. Seuss and Potato Head and cancel culture.
Yeah, you know, the people that are screaming cancel culture, but yet wanted to cancel Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee, and then wanted to cancel football teams that allowed people to take a knee. You know, I can remember when Dee Snider from Twisted Sister was in front of Congress because they were trying to cancel rock music because of subliminal messages that were making young people kill other people. Republicans are full of shit. They're always full of shit. They're always going to try to tell you that we can't afford to help the people at the bottom. But they're always going to also tell you that we cannot not make sure that we push money to the people at the top. It's all a bunch of bullshit.
I also remember the Dixie Chicks saying that they were ashamed that George Bush was from Texas, and then
they destroyed them. The Dixie Chicks never recovered. They never recovered. You know, so I don't want to hear your cancel culture bullshit. That's all garbage. The Republican Party is a two-faced bunch of lying cheaters. And oh, by the way, I love it where if you go to a pedophile tree and you shake it, a Republican will fall out of it.
And you don't even have to look that far back. Harry Styles, he wore a dress on a magazine and they went crazy. Lil Nas tried to sell some Satan shoes and they went crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they are, you know. And I'm still pissed off because I'm sick and tired of the Democrats having to take the high road all the time. I'm sick and tired of that. You know, I remember when I was in Iraq, I actually ate a meal sitting across the table from Al Franken, who was in Iraq visiting us troops. And, you know, Al Franken was a comedian first, you know, and of course there was pictures of him where he acted like he didn't touch the woman's breast, but he stuck his hands over her breasts without touching them. And they took a picture. It was a joke. It was a gag. He resigned because everybody said, oh, it's horrible. You know, you got friggin' everybody, every Republican going crazy over Governor Cuomo because he's being accused. But yet they're not saying jack shit about Matt Gaetz. And the thing about Matt Gaetz is there's the reason why the Republicans are not coming to his aid is because they know, everybody who knows Matt Gaetz knows that that's how he is. He is a absolute frat boy that never grew up. So, you know, I'm sick and tired of that. I'm sick and tired of wanting to chastise Democrats when, like I said, if you shake a friggin' a pedophile tree, a Republican's going to fall out of it. I don't give two shits about your QAnon talking about how people like Tom Hanks is eating, babies. But at the end of the day, how many times are these Republicans getting caught doing the wrong thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Meghan McCain going off about the Al Franken thing on The View.
Let me tell you something. I don't even know why she's still on The View. Nobody likes her. You know, and I'll tell you right now, I had the utmost respect for her father. I voted for her father. You know, I supported him wholeheartedly because at the end of the day, he was a good man. Not only was he he was a hero, he was a POW. He was a good man. Today, if he was alive today, he would be the voice against his own party. And we need more people like him. We need more of him. We need less Lindsey Grahams. We need less Matt Gaetz. We need more McCain's. Fact. And as far as she goes, she needs to just leave. She does, because I think that every time she gets on that show, she should know that she's not liked on that show. She is the token person that they get to kick in the ass when she starts spewing her beliefs that are jacked up. So yeah, I think she's a shitbag.
Yeah. So are you actually for or against Cuomo being removed? Then you mentioned Cuomo in there.
First and foremost, is he guilty? Have they proven him to be guilty? When I hear a bunch of Republicans say, "Oh, he's a horrible person. He needs to step down," I say, "Can I cuss?"
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. When I hear a Republican say that, the first thing I want to say is, fuck you. Fuck you and fuck everybody around you. Because at the end of the day, Cuomo has been a leader. Cuomo has done some amazing things. And he's done a phenomenal job with this pandemic. When New York was it was rough. It was rough. He was a leader. And there's a reason why they want to go after Cuomo, because the Republican Party knows that when they see a real leader, it exposes all of them. I mean, let's look at what Governor Cuomo has done for his people. And then let's look about Governor Abbott from Texas. Look at what they did. Look at what the leadership in Texas did to those people. They allowed them to freeze to death because they allowed the electric company to say, we're not going to winterize because it costs money. And then they let the electric company fleece the people that were freezing to death when it was all over with. You know, nobody said shit about Governor Death Santis in Florida. What about the governor in Georgia signing legislation that is absolutely racist? You know, I mean, if anybody needs to step down, it's Abbott, it's DeSantis, it's that friggin' asshole in Georgia. You know, those are the people need to step down. So I'll stand by Cuomo any day of the week.
Yeah, Democrats do have a tendency of just kind of giving up or disarming immediately.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sick and tired of Democrats playing that game. You know what? Democrats own guns too. So the whole gun situation, you know, Democrats care about guns too. We just don't need to carry them on our hips, you know. But Democrats need to start fighting back. I'm sick and tired of Democrats rolling over because the Republican, well, this is going to look bad. I don't give a shit. I don't give two shits. You know, Governor Cuomo can step down after the rest of those assholes step down.
Yeah. So that infrastructure bill we mentioned earlier, Biden, he plans for it to be $2 trillion. AOC is kind of went at him saying it should be $10 trillion. Joe Manchin.
Hey, settle down, AOC. Settle down, AOC. You know, he's talking about 50,000 charging stations. He's talking about so many air or sea miles that are going to be wind that is going to basically power over 100 million homes. That's going to be from Maryland all the way to New Jersey in the ocean. You know, I mean, he's trying to fix over 10,000 crumbling bridges. It's called baby steps. You know, and once people start to see the benefits, then they're going to start to accept more. Okay. But just coming out right now and saying 10 trillion, good Lord, you know, if he said 10 trillion, these people, the Republicans, would go crazy and they would say, you're going to all be the ones going to pay for it. How about we don't put 10 trillion on the friggin' tab until we can pay off the 2 trillion first?
Yeah. Even Joe Manchin signaled that he would be cool with more than 2 trillion, though. So I thought that was
interesting. And that's okay. But that's okay. That means that when we get to the 2 trillion, we can expand it. People can always vote to add to. You know, it's like you can add to, but don't take away. How about that? We can add to, but don't take away. That needs to be the key. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, when we finish and we fix 10,000 bridges and we fix over 50,000 miles of roads and we bring high-speed rail to America and we start doing those things and upgrading those things and we bring broadband to America. When we start doing those things and we see the benefits of them, then people should be completely fine expanding, doing more. But I'm telling you right now, if we come out here today and say we're going to do 10 trillion, that's an astronomical number that you can't even fathom, you know, and people don't understand that. You know, the average person doesn't even understand numbers that high. If you stack, what is it? $1 bills, $1 million $1 bills stacked up, you know, together is like so many feet. $1 billion is like 3 stories, you know. $1 trillion is practically to the moon, you know. Come on. Let me tell you something. This is the most beautiful cat in the world. This cat. I know this is crazy. This cat is a baby. Look how big it is. It's massive.
It is. It's huge.
It's my daughter's cat. I'm sitting for her, so.
Yeah, I have some of the things that are in the $2 trillion thing that Biden wants to pass. 115 billion to repair and rebuild bridges, highways, and roads.
Over 10,000 bridges are crumbling across this country. Absolutely spot on. Great.
100 billion to expand high-speed broadband across the entire country.
We don't even have that where I'm from. West Virginia, Shelley Moore Capito says broadband every time she runs for office. And we're no damn better for as long as she's been in office. She's a shitbag.
North Kansas City, where I used to live, they actually do. The whole city has it for free.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat.
Should be that way everywhere.
100 billion to upgrade and build new schools.
Absolutely.
And 100 billion to expand and improve power lines and spur a shift to clean energy.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you a thing too, the power line things, I love how nowadays they're running power lines underground. I'm getting ready to build my retirement home, and it's costing us $5,000 just for them to run the power line to our property. And that's okay, but they're running it under the ground. And that, I mean, think about every time we have when you go to third world countries, power lines everywhere. When they have a disaster, they have no power for extended periods of time because they got to come back and rebuild the entire system because a hurricane or a tornado has wiped it out. When the power lines are underground, you don't have that problem. So, things like that I think are absolutely important.
Yeah, and he wants to pay for it by taxing the wealthy, basically.
And why not? I mean, understand, Nike, if you paid $120 for a pair of Nike shoes, you paid more taxes than Nike did last year. And the Nike CEO made $23 billion last year. Think about that. That's almost $2 billion a month. Think about that. And they pay literally no taxes at all. None. That's a problem in this country. And I think it's great that we finally have a president that is speaking like Eisenhower and Franklin Delano Roosevelt by saying, we're going to require the rich to do more in this country. I'm telling you, I believe that when all is said and done, I believe that Joe Biden is going to turn out to be one of our best presidents.
Yeah. Some people are complaining, the progressives and the Republicans for different reasons, that he said.
Shut the fuck up.
He said that we all agreed that 35% capital gains tax was too much, and that's why he's raising it to just 28%. Republicans think that that's too much, and progressives think that 35% was not too much. Like, what do you think?
Look, let me tell you something. If it was up to me, I look at daggone, Eisenhower and them was taxing the filthy rich. I'm talking 80, 70, 80%. I mean, at the end of the day, Eisenhower even said, Eisenhower even said that there's no reason for anybody to be a billionaire. There's no need for a billionaire. These are people, Bezos could literally end world hunger. This guy could have a legacy. First and foremost, when you're dead, and you cannot take it with you. Just ask the one asshole of the Koch brothers that shit the bed 2 years ago. He didn't take it with him, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you had the ability to have a legacy that you ended world hunger, that you ended homelessness in America, there would be statues made of you, and it would be deserving. Your legacy, they would read about you 1,000 years from now, about the person that used his wealth to end world hunger. But these people won't. And the reason why is because the United States of America has created a system that makes people feel like he who dies with the most toys wins. It makes them think that, damn, I'm only 35th on the Fortune 500 list. If I file for bankruptcy and screw over these 2,000 workers, which means I won't have to pay their retirement, I can be moved up to 23 on the Fortune 500. Let's do it. That's the problem that we have in this country, is that the filthy rich don't want to ante up because they're in a race. I don't give two shits that Elon Musk is saying, I want to show people the stars. I would rather that friggin' asshole show people clean drinking water. That's what I'd rather him do. I don't give two shits about anything right now concerning the stars, because the truth is that if they found out tomorrow that we could move to Mars and live on Mars, if you think that you or I would get a seat on that spaceship, you're full of shit, because you're going to have to buy that seat, and that seat's going to be worth $1 billion, and only the people that they want to save will see another planet. When our planet dies, and we're about to cross the point of no return, where the experts have said, if we cross that point, all you can do is sit down and watch the earth die around you. When we cross that point, they're going to go into a speedy plan on how we can move people to another planet. That's a fact. That's the reason why we're focusing on Mars right now. That's the only reason why. But when that comes to that point, if you think the average citizens are ever going to get the ability, no, we're going to stay here and we're going to choke to death. We're going to stay here and we're going to die of thirst because we will have no clean drinking water left. That's what's going to happen to the rest of us. And Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and a few of these other friggin' assholes like Mark Zuckerberg and the rest of them, they're going to find themselves on friggin' Mars watching the rest of us friggin' die.
Destroying that planet.
In due time, they will. They'll set up a system, and that's how it'll be.
Do you think it kind of a little bit handcuffs future administrations if Biden says, well, we all agreed that 35% was too much, because then they can use that against that administration and say, well, President Biden said that 35 was too much. That's
if a person that wins the presidency decides that this is what we're going to do, that's what they can do. Raising it from 28 to 35 or 35 to 55 and putting it in the hands of the filthy rich in this country, what you're going to benefit, what you're going to do is going to absolutely make this place better. What Joe Biden is doing about requiring the corporations and the filthy rich to finally pay to fix our roads and to create these changing stations, to create wind and solar and things like that, that's going to benefit all of us. And eventually everybody's going to go, damn, you know what? That's a damn good job. And oh, by the way, we still have 3 years and another 285 days of the awesomeness that we are currently seeing. That is the administration of Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'm nervous for in the future when for the next vote already.
If Joe Biden continues down this path and continues doing what he's doing, he will overwhelmingly win a second term. I just hope that, if he does, he'll live long enough. He's getting up there in age. He'll be the oldest person to run for president, re-election, and be a president. But at the end of the day, that's why we have competent vice presidents. I don't want nothing to happen to Joe. I want to see him do this term and maybe the next term too. But I also believe that I believe that Kamala Harris is a very competent person, and ultimately, I think we're ready for a female president, and to have a female vice president that is of color. I got an invite to the inauguration, and believe it or not, I took my invite, and it come with pictures of both Kamala and President Biden. It come with the actual handout that everybody got that has a beautiful rope, little string rope thing attached to it. It come with about it was about 6 pieces. And I just went and paid, and I got a big discount. When it's done, this frame is going to be worth about $1,200. But I got a lot of discounts, a military discount. I got a lot of discounts. I'm proud to have it framed, and I'm going to be proud to have it in my home.
And if Vice President Harris runs instead of Biden for the next one, if Biden does really well, she can just kind of continue, hopefully, and
You know, if she wants to continue pursuing that path, I don't know if she could win a presidency. I don't know. You know, once again, I mean, that's the thing is you know, I think we're ready for a female president. At the end of the day, I think that remember, I've had suffered 2 brain injuries in combat. I don't remember names very well, but what was one of the female with the glasses that ran for president? Her name.
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. I think Elizabeth Warren would have been a phenomenal president. You know, I think that, you know, I think that if Joe Biden doesn't run for re-election, I think that she will run again. And I'll tell you, I think that Elizabeth Warren, is phenomenal. And she come down here. She come to my neck of the woods and spent time, you know, talking to candidates. So, you know, I think Elizabeth Warren is solid, and I think she would be a good president too. But I would absolutely also support Kamala Harris.
The 2 of them together, they've worked together in the past. That might be
absolutely. It wouldn't bother me to have a female team at all. I mean, hell, I mean, men screwed up a lot of shit. Maybe it's time to let some women try to fix some of this garbage.
A few foreign policy things. The airstrikes on Syria, there's a lot of civilian deaths. What did you think about that one?
Well, I mean, you know,
it's kind of your field.
yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, nobody knows what's truly going on. We're not sitting in those tactical operation centers where the generals are making the decision to do these things. The generals, anything that happens that's tactical is done with generals. And I'm telling you right now, when they do it, I put complete confidence in it. So as far as I'm concerned, they knew what the target was, and they had to do what they had to do.
So the thing with in Saudi Arabia, Jamal Khashoggi.
I think that we should sanction the shit out of Saudi Arabia. I'm sick and tired of us babying Saudi Arabia because why? Because they have all the damn oil. I don't give 2 shits about that. You know, I think that what happened to Khashoggi was absolutely unacceptable. I think that Michael Flynn needs to go down for that. I think that, you know, I mean, 19 of the people who took the towers down were from Saudi Arabia. You know, Osama bin Laden's father was literally the chief engineer of Saudi Arabia. You know, I mean, look, it's this is all about this. I think that absolutely what the crown prince did in Saudi Arabia was murder, and the way they did it was absolutely unacceptable, and there needs to be repercussions for this.
Yeah, so Biden put sanctions on the hit team dispatched to capture or kill Khashoggi, and also placed visa restrictions on 76 others. It said had threatened descendants overseas. Do you think that's strong enough?
I mean, well, no, I don't. I mean, I want to see, you know, look, Saudi Arabia has been bombing schools, open markets in Yemen. I mean, I want to see sanctions in that, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're bombing innocent people. They're killing women and children in downtown places where they're just going to shop for food for their kids, and they're being killed. Because why? Because Saudi Arabia. And here we are pushing more arms to Saudi Arabia. You know, it's garbage. You know, let me tell you something. Our government is going to select our enemies for us. Let me tell you something. I can guarantee you that if nobody knew that you was American and you got on a plane and you flew to Tehran, Iran, I can guarantee you could walk through Tehran. You could stop at restaurants and eat. People would smile at you. People would not treat you with disrespect. Because the truth is our governments are the ones that cause this bullshit. The average citizen in any country doesn't grow up to hate you unless they're taught to hate you. And at the end of the day, I guarantee you that the people in Iran love their children just as much as we love our children. They want their kids to be educated as much as we want our kids to be educated. These people that are coming from Guatemala and Belize and Nicaragua and El Salvador and Costa Rica and Mexico that are coming to the United States of America for a better life, they're doing that because they love their kids and they want their families to have better. That's it. You know, they're not bad people. They're only painted in a bad light when you got racist assholes like Donald Trump in office. That's it. I know people that grew up in Iran before the 70s, where you had the hostage crisis and all that, you know, and I'm telling you right now, they loved the people in Iran.
We talked about Trump last time. Do you still think that he's going to jail?
Yeah. And I will tell you, a person by the name of Glenn Kirshner, I call Glenn Kirshner the oracle when it comes to legal matters. And Glenn Kirshner is on lots of MSNBC, CNN, all that stuff. He is absolutely one of the most intelligent legal minds in this country today. And the reason why he's on all these shows is because they said, hey, we're going to throw him in here. We're going to see if he can sink or swim. And he did a phenomenal job. He's also on the Stuttering John podcast with me quite often. I'm going to tell you, Glenn Kirshner has already said that before the end of this year, we are going to see our Donald Trump in handcuffs moment. Donald Trump has so many legal battles that he is facing. Right now, there's 2 grand juries in Georgia that are going after him for basically trying to steal the election. He's got over 26 cases against him that go from sexual assault all the way to rape. He is not going to be able to stand in court and say, I would never do that. When we have video, you saying, when you're rich and famous, you can do what you want. You can move on them like a bitch. You grab them by the pussy. Nobody cares. They're going to say that. That's going to come back to haunt him. We know for a fact that he has been as corrupt in so many different ways. His ass is going down. He's going to be nickeled and dimed to death. They're about ready to seize his properties in Scotland because they know that it was absolute money laundering. He paid $60 million in cash for a resort. And now the government is going, that's not right. This is wrong. And they're going to take it. They're going to seize his shit in Scotland real soon. It's going to happen.
New York State's coming after him too for
New York's Letitia James is about to scuff his ass up, and everybody knows it. And they're bringing in, I mean, in New York, they hired the man that is the subject matter expert on white collar crime, who is the guy who put friggin' John Gotti, Teflon Don. He put John Gotti in prison. Let me tell you something. Michael Cohen has already been seen 7 times going into their office for questioning. And Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen has already said, did you read his book?
No.
Let me tell you something. If you read one book this year, you better read his. You won't put it down. I'm telling you, I read it and it was like, holy shit. Every page I was like, what? I mean, it talks about how they come up with the birther bullshit with Obama. That was a bunch of lies, but they knew that if they went to the middle part of America and they just started floating it out there and they were like, holy shit, these dumbasses are buying it. That's how it all started. But Michael Cohen absolutely lays out the way Donald Trump, he actually said when they finally got Donald Trump's taxes, New York did. Michael Cohen said they now have their hands on the Holy Grail. Michael Cohen knows exactly what they've done to cheat on taxes. And he knows. He's told them. It's done. Donald Trump is exposed. And Donald Trump is going down. And Don Jr. is right now scared shitless and acting all erratic because Don Jr. knows that he's going to be indicted too. And now he don't have his daddy that can pardon him now. He's fucked. And so are the rest of them. Yeah, so are the rest of them. I think Ivanka will be the only one that will come out because her and Jared made like $80 million during the presidency. But I will tell you that I think anybody out there today that would buy anything from Ivanka Trump is a fucking asshole. You know, she's had all this stuff. When her father was waging tariff wars against China, she was going to China and locking down trademarks and shit. And then, you know, she's having her Ivanka shit made in sweatshops for $3 a bag. And then she's bringing them to America and selling them for, you know, $3,000. You know, fuck her and the whole family.
It's amazing to me that Trump did all that. Like, what is your end game? Like, I guess his end game was just to be president until he died.
Yeah, but behind the scene, yeah, that's what he wanted. That's the whole thing on January 6th was nothing more than an attempt to try to stop Joe Biden from taking office. He wanted, let me tell you something, Donald Trump wanted them to be successful and get hold of the members of Congress because he wanted there to be executions on that friggin' House floor. And then what I guarantee you Donald Trump would have done is he would have then called out the military to go in there and wipe out all the people that he sent to the Capitol to do that shit. And I think that at the end of the day, that's what he wanted to do. And then he would basically say, well, that's it, folks. I'm not going anywhere. He wanted to be a dictator. He only respects dictators. Donald Trump only had relationships with dictators. He didn't have good relationships with Merkel, with people. He didn't have good relationships with people from all over the world. He had good relationships with Kim Jong-un, with friggin' the Saudi crown prince, with Vladimir Putin. That's who he had good relationships with. That's the reason why they kept information from President Trump, because they were scared that he was going to share it with these assholes. Yeah.
And Sidney Powell's no reasonable person would believe this. Yeah, no reasonable person would, but the non-reasonable people did, and they went to the Capitol.
And we have a lot of non-reasonable people in this country that still to this day are flying their stupid bullshit Trump flags that are made in China, by the way. You know, so yeah. Well, hey, brother, look, it's 9:00, yeah. Man, and my wife's taking off tomorrow morning, so I need to go at least hang out with her for a little bit. So, brother, I appreciate it, man. You know, the Life Taco, man. I enjoy it, man, and I know this is at least the second time I've been on here. I hope it does well, and I hope people enjoy it.